Okay, we're live.
Hi, good evening. My name is Alicia. I'm here today with Scotiabank, and I'd like to just take a moment to begin this presentation with land acknowledgement. We will begin this financial literacy workshop by acknowledging that we are meeting on Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. As settlers, we're grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, as we gather here, there have been Aboriginal peoples who have been the stewards of this place. In particular, we acknowledge the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Nipissing First Nation, Anishinaabe. As settlers, this recognition of the contributions and historic importance of Indigenous peoples must be clearly and overtly connected to our collective commitment to make the promise and the challenge of truth and reconciliation real in our communities, and in particular to bring justice for murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls across our country. Thank you. I'm here this evening along with Victoria, again from Scotiabank, and we're here to present a brief workshop on financial literacy. This workshop is meant to be broad in its information that we share this evening, but we encourage all of you to reach out to someone that you know, someone that you trust in banking, to get more information and more details that are relevant to you specifically. At Scotiabank, we use the line or I'm not sure what to call it exactly, but we have a saying called everyone's future starts with a story. And I believe very firmly in this, that all of our journeys to financial health, financial literacy, and financial fitness begin with a story about who we are and how we came to be here. So part of this evening, we're going to walk everyone through a bit about, or take the time to consider who you are, what your relationship is with your finances, and how you might like them to change in the future. And what these funds that you may be receiving are going to be utilized for to make a difference and to live the values that you want in your future. I'm going to take a moment, maybe because this is our live streaming and we don't have anyone here with us in our audience, we'll take this moment to introduce ourselves. I'm going to hand it over to Victoria and she can start.
So, my name is Victoria. I work as a financial advisor at Scotiabank. I feel very passionate about financial literacy because it's usually the first place to start, whether you're a child or someone who's never done budgeting. These are tools and things, knowledge is power. So it's always very important that always keep learning, and there's so many aspects of financial literacy, from bank accounts to budgeting to investing. So some of the things that we want to touch on today, and again, what do we learn about money? What tools do we use to manage money? And we're going to go through some activities that we're going to post as a PDF to attach with this live stream. And feel free to use the activities to kind of help you understand about the relationship with money as well. So one of the activities that we have that we're going to add is called the color of money. And it's just a checklist. Go through that and just see where, what category you fall in, just to kind of understand, where you stand with money. Do you budget? Are you very free with your money? And hopefully things, budget at the end of the month. It's just a questionnaire just to kind of bring awareness. So take your time and go through that. And if you have any questions, again, we're gonna have all those tools added to the slideshow as well. So the next slide, so financial, so just in terminology, anything related to finances, literacy skills, and knowledge of the subject, and how the state of being that allows you to cope with the demands of daily life. So putting all of that together, financial literacy is to have the skills and knowledge about money and how to use it. And again, it could go anywhere from budgeting, just your relationship with money, you know, and investing as well. So making our money last as long as we can. And so we're, you know, living comfortably, stress-free. Financial helps to have financial literacy to manage the regular demands of life, such as paying bills, having money to cover your financial needs today and in the future. And, you know, just learning how to make our money work for us, that helps us, you know, live more stress-free, more comfortable. And these tools will always, you know, hopefully help bring us, I guess, a more understanding of how to do that. And it's really hard until we, you know, have an awareness of how to budget and what is investing. So we're going to go through some of that today. And then we have the next slide here. And Alicia.
Thanks, Victoria. So here's a couple of questions that we would pose to you today if you were present in the room with us. And I'm going to take a moment to answer them for myself, to share with you what one perspective. So what is your relationship with money? My relationship with money now at this point in my life is, I would describe it as a healthy relationship with money. I feel confident in my ability to save. I feel confident in how my future looks. But I will share with everyone today that when I was younger, I had a very difficult relationship with money. I didn't know or understand how to save. I had a difficult time not deferring my gratification for consumer products. I had too much debt. And this was, in many ways, because I didn't have a community that supported me or a family that knew and understood concepts about money. So I'm very happy that I was able to learn the skills and that I was able to change my behaviors so that today I don't experience stress because of my finances. What does financial security look like for me? Financial security looks like for me the ability to live a full life without financial worry. Financial security looks like for me my sons who are 20 and 22, knowing and understanding what their options and opportunities are with money so that they have a greater capacity and their advantages in this life are greater than mine. What does financial security feel like? Financial security to me, I would describe it as sunshine. It's something that feels warm, it's something that feels safe, it's very comfortable. And I'm happy to have had that opportunity to learn and to develop and to build those skills. So I'd like everyone to reflect how they feel about these questions and what they would say if they were asked them. Because understanding our relationship with our finances is the first step to building better habits to have that financial security. So the next slide I'm going to talk about, and that kind of builds on what I was talking about before, is value-based budgeting. So value-based budgeting is just one way to define how you spend your money based on the income that you receive. Value-based budgeting is a philosophy focused on guiding users to spend in areas of their life that they value most. So there's other budgets that Victoria is going to go in later that are much more cut and dry. It's just simply about it's what you have for income and what you have for expenses and how do you budget on a monthly basis so that you can do as much as possible with what you have. Value-based budgeting is a guide, not a rule. It's more about aligning how we feel about money with our habits and our choices related to money. So this next slide is about a worksheet that we have, an activity that we have, which we're also going to share to the portal that will be updated with this PowerPoint presentation. This workshop or worksheet, this activity, has a list of money values and a list of personal values. So what I'd like you to do, if you're interested, is take a look at the money values and circle 10 of them that you feel resonate with you. And then I want you to take a look at the personal values. And I want you to circle 10 and think about how they define who you are. And then I want you to take those two lists and I want you to reflect on, are your money values aligned with your personal values? And if so, that's wonderful. But if there's a misalignment between your money values and your personal values, I want you to again ask yourself some questions on what you can do to align your money values to your personal values. Again, I talked about my financial security looking like or feeling like sunshine, it's warm and it's comforting. Part of my money values are that I don't have to, that I can retire earlier or as soon as possible. Part of that is that I am grateful for what I have, and that gratitude for what I have today allows me to have a perspective where I don't need as many things in my life. And when I don't need as many things in my life, then there's a possibility, not a guarantee, but a possibility that I might then be able to save more for my future because I value being able to stop working as young as possible. Maybe I won't accomplish that, but I am working towards it and I hope that I will have that opportunity. So again, where do you see your money values aligned with your personal values, and what areas are not in alignment? And how can you create a financial plan that those two are working together? Stress and the impacts of financial stress affect our physical and mental health and well-being. If we make living stress-free a value, we can shape our spending habits by helping us focus on short and long-term savings goals, including savings for emergencies or a rainy day, setting aside funds for a vacation or wedding, saving for retirement or our child's education.
Okay, so we're going to look at the next slide and just ask a few questions. And we do have an accompanying worksheet as well, which also basically makes you think about the questions a little bit more. So what would you do if you spent, so if you had an annual bonus of $2,500, how would you feel about that? What would you do with the money? I mean, it's a smaller amount of money. Maybe it's going to help with Christmas spending, or maybe it's going to help pay your property taxes for the year, or something like that. It's a little chunk of money, but it goes a long way. Or maybe you earned an inheritance, or an inheritance of like $25,000. So now that's a bigger chunk of money. And, you know, again, based on your values, what would you do with them? How would you spend it? Would you save it? Maybe it would help you with a down payment for a home. So there's lots of things, you know, again, and if we have a bigger chunk of money, like winning the lottery for $1 million, I hope you don't spend all $1 million, but what would you do with all of your money? Those just things to think about. What would you do with your money? Would you save some? Would you budget it? Would you spend a whole bunch, pay off your debts?
Would you retire?
Would you retire? Exactly. $1 million, you retire. But we do have an accompanying worksheet with that as well. And then we're going to get into some budgeting. So we have a couple of different budgets, which we're going to add as well to this as a PDF, actually, so that you could work through these budgets. There's kind of a different type of budget. We have the classic budget that's going to be attached, where you're going to have your monthly expenses, such as your housing costs. You're going to have your food costs, your clothing, transportation, other household expenses. And there's also medical, personal care, insurance, any debt payments like loans or credit cards, and savings, donations, personal gifts, Christmas shopping. You know, even if you smoke, there's a budget for your cigarettes even, or maybe you'd like to go out to eat, you know, once a week. So all that goes into your monthly budget. So what you have coming in every month, and then this little monthly budget, it's called Navigating Life, will help, you know, decide to maybe you don't have enough coming in of what you're spending. So maybe you're spending too much. So it'll just kind of bring awareness of, you know, your costs that you're, you know, where your money is going every month. And then the other part of the budget, you know, that would be more of a classic budget. So, yeah, so basically looking at your fixed monthly expenses, and then a budget can work with you. So if you define your goals and prioritize your goals, you can create a picture of where your money comes from and where so what's coming in and what's going out every month. And it just brings an awareness to make sure that you know, you have enough money and you have enough of what's coming in and compared to what you're paying. Sometimes, you know, Christmas time, I have 3 kids, so I tend to spend too much at Christmas, so I pay the price and have to cut back on other aspects. So maybe I can't pay out for two months. But these are choices that we make. So we need to prioritize our things and our goals, and you know, again, it all goes into the budget, so it just helps them keep track of everything. And then build a plan for achievement. Maybe you're setting up a savings plan, putting away $25 a month. You know, what is that plan for? What are you going to do with that money? Vacation, maybe buy a new bed or a mattress. So at least there's a goal and a reward at the end. Okay. And again, this goes together with financial plans. So we're going to get into some savings goals as well. So again, these budgets, they're both going to be on as PDFs. We also have a pie chart which has like a 50, 30, 20, and that means basically you have 50% on your needs, 30% on your wants, and your monthly budget of 20% on savings. So, I mean, it might be hard to, you know, set that up at first, but, you know, that would be a goal. So maybe you don't, you know, you start with 60% on needs or 70% on needs, and then the wants, and maybe there's no room for savings at present moment. But again, these are goals that you're going to set for yourself, and you know, make achievable goals, and then that way, you know, that you, it's rewardable at the end. So now we're going to talk about savings goals. So we have short-term savings, and then there's long-term savings. So if we're looking at short-term savings, we're looking at things like emergency savings. So having 3 to 6 months of your income coming in and having that put away for emergency. So it could be that, it could be, you know, unexpected expenses, a leak in the roof, or maybe you need to pay for first and last month's rent. So these are things that we would classify under emergency savings. So this way you don't have to borrow the money, because then we're getting into debt again. So it could be also for a vacation, or maybe you're saving up for a vehicle. So these are all short-term savings. And next slide, going to just quickly talk about where do we keep the money for the short-term savings. So we want the money accessible because it is emergency savings. So we can keep, the money in a checking account, for example. And unfortunately, we don't earn interest on checking accounts. But you know what? It's easy to access if we need it for an emergency. And sometimes you want to keep in mind the minimum balance of your checking account. Sometimes if you have certain accounts, keeping a minimum balance in that account prevents you getting the service charges every month. So that's always a bonus. So some people like, they would like to keep their emergency savings in a checking account. But if you have a savings account, you will earn a little bit of interest. But again, this is money that you want to keep easily accessible. So it could be things like, your emergency savings, vacations, saving for vacations, saving for vehicles, saving for renovations. And this would be things that you probably need within a year, even 2 years, maybe you're saving for a home. But this is where we're gonna look at other options as well. But checking accounts and savings accounts are two great options to keep for your short-term savings for those emergencies. Okay, and I'm going to pass back to Alicia, who's going to get into more depth about the long-term savings.
So a long-term savings solution has a time horizon of minimum 3 years and up. Generally, 3 to 5 years would be a normal long-term savings solution. And further in the future, when we're talking about something like retirement or legacy. So additional goals that you could have that would be included in a long-term savings strategy are saving for down payment for a home, saving for your child's education, as I mentioned, saving for your retirement, and also legacy planning or legacy savings, saving for the next generation, for your children and your children's children. There are many options that are available to all of us for long-term saving strategies. Some of those accounts that I'm going to speak about tonight, but not all of the ones on the list here, are tax-free savings accounts, registered retirement savings accounts, first home savings, registered education savings, and non-registered savings accounts. So all of these accounts are similar in that they all allow you the opportunity to invest in a wide variety of ways, depending on whether you prefer capital preservation or you're comfortable with market volatility. However, they each provide their own unique benefit and have their own unique limitations. The first one I'm going to talk to you about is a tax-free savings account. This account is amazing, but it also has limits because the government doesn't want every single person who has millions of dollars to just be able to put it all into an account tax sheltered and grow it as much as possible. So they evened out the playing field a little bit. You could begin contributing to this account in 2009. So if you were 18 in 2009, your lifetime contribution limit in 2024 is $95,000. If you turned 18 in 2024, your contribution this year in your 18th year is $7,000. One of the greatest benefits of this account is that it offers you the opportunity to grow the money in the account for 3 years, 5 years, a lifetime. And none of the growth in the account is taxed. And when you withdraw from this account, any of your withdrawals are not taxed. The other benefit of this account that I didn't mention, I should have mentioned on the PowerPoint, is the benefit of adding a successor holder, which could be your partner, your spouse, or a beneficiary, which could literally be anyone. So in this account, you can designate specifically where you want this money to go when you pass away. So if you list a successor holder, so that's a partner or a spouse as your successor holder, the benefit of this account goes to that individual. It becomes re-registered in their name and does not impact their personal contribution. If you list someone as a beneficiary in this account, then that individual or individuals, if you have, for example, 4 children, you could indicate that each child gets 25% of the value of the account. And at that point in time, when the estate is being processed, the beneficiaries in this account are issued drafts in their name from the funds available in the account. The other benefit of a tax-free, which I indicated is a benefit of all of these registered and non-registered accounts, is that they allow you to hold your money and invest it in a variety of ways. One of those options being a guaranteed income certificate, which offers you the benefit of capital preservation. So this benefit means that when you choose a GIC, you contract with the bank for a specific term. Most of these terms are locked in, but there are opportunities to choose non-locked-in, cashable, or personal redeemable GICs. And at the end of that term, you receive the benefit of the interest that you agreed to with the bank. So for example, right now, you could put your money into a 13-month guaranteed income certificate at 4.9%. And at the end of the 13 months, you have what you originally invested plus that 4.9%. Then we have market investments. Market investments, there's just so many of them. There's like literally thousands of them. But the key part of a market investment that I want to mention is that it's a longer term time horizon investment. You need to use a strategy for investments that you'll be saving or setting aside confidently for a longer period of time, at least 3 to 5 years. Because these investments will respond to the market and they can go up or down depending on the market. We call it market volatility. So if you had $10,000 and you put it in a low risk investment, it could possibly go up or down 10% in a short time horizon, which we consider a year. If you put it in a high risk market investment, it could fluctuate 30 or 40% up or down in a short time horizon. Which means if you're not comfortable with that, if that makes you lose sleep at night, it might not be the best solution. Let me see. I think that's all about the tax-free that I can share with you this evening. But if you have more questions, or if you have any, if you want a deeper conversation, please feel free to reach out to whomever you're most comfortable with. Victoria's going to take a moment and she's going to talk about a couple of the other accounts I mentioned and some of the benefits and limitations of those accounts.
So we also have another type of investment. It's called a registered retirement savings plan. RSPs, these have been around for a very long time, waiting for tax-free savings account. And but the income is, your contribution limit is based on your income, whereas the tax-free savings account contribution limit is declared by the government every year. It's going to change based on whatever the government dictates is the contribution limit. So whereas the RSP or contribution limit is based on your income, so it's up to a maximum of 18% of your income in the previous year. So usually if you file income tax return, the government will determine on the notice of assessment and state what your contribution limit is, and they will carry forward on the previous year's contribution limit as well. And so, for example, in 2023, your maximum contribution limit is either $30,780. That would be the maximum. So it is capped. Also, contributions earned in a year can be used to offset your taxable income. So this is very good for people who are higher income earners and it offsets your income, so it brings you to a lower income tax bracket. I'm very brief on this because I think it's very complicated. But you'll get a tax receipt every time you make a contribution into an RSP. And so basically that tax receipt is what you file with your income tax return. Sometimes you get more of an income tax refund as well when you do have a contribution to an RSP. And your money is tax deferred in your investment account. So it's not tax sheltered like it is with a tax-free savings account. And so in this case, if you are doing a withdrawal to an RSP, registered retirement savings plan, basically you're going to be taxed. There's going to be withholding tax. So the government is saying basically we give you a little tax break, and now we're going to take our tax break back. So we're going to charge you 10% withholding tax, and that's for the first $5,000 that you're doing withdrawal for, and someone goes up to 30% withholding tax. So it does get expensive to withdraw from this account. So we definitely recommend opening a tax-free savings account unless you need the contribution rate for that tax year. Now, also just like a tax-free savings account, you can also have a variety of investment options. You can have your GICs or the market investments as well. The other thing too, so your money is tax deferred in an RSP, but the year that you turn 71, the government wants you now to convert that money, the RSP, into a registered retirement income fund. So it's what we call a RIF. And so basically the year that you turn 71, it has to convert into the RIF, which the government is now going to determine your minimum. There's a minimum withdrawal amount that you have to make. And so basically, withholding tax is taken at the time of withdrawing the funds as income. So again, you're depending on how much you're withdrawing every month, you could take, you could determine that you just want to receive, $5,000 every year. So basically, the benefit of having money in the RSP is tax deferred, so you're not, paying any your income is not being recorded on any interest that you're earning or capital gains, so it's kind of sheltered. But then when you convert it to the RIF, now you're going to be paying your taxes. So based on that, you have to start withdrawing the year you're actually 72. So it's when you have to start. So it has to convert to the RIF the year you turn 71, and withdrawals have to start the year you're 72. You can take it as a lump sum, or you can have it deposited into your bank account every month, and you can use that as income as well. So again, with a RIF, just like the RSP, you can also have a variety of investment options with GICs or market investments. And the other thing to mention with the RSP and the RIF, basically you could also have beneficiaries, just like you can with the tax-free savings account, except the successor holder is only eligible for the registered retirement income fund. So by having a beneficiary listed on your registered investment, it bypasses having to pay any taxes to the government. Complicated, but yeah, we just want to basically the money will go directly to your beneficiary without having to pay any tax to the government or the tax savings account. The RSP is a little bit different.
It can be a little bit, but not.
Yeah.
The details, but there are different things during the estate process with tax-free, but.
Yeah, so that we can go into more detail with that. Yeah, there's beneficiaries listed. So the withholding tax, the government will usually get their income tax back. The other account that you can invest in is called a non-registered savings account. So basically, this account is not tax sheltered or tax deferred, and it provides you the opportunity to invest after you've maximized your tax-free savings account or RSP. Then you're going to invest your money into a non-registered account. So you don't have the benefit of having your money tax deferred or tax shelter, which means any income, any interest that you earn from capital gains or dividends, for example, you're going to be taxed on that amount. So you're going to get a tax receipt every year, and you're going to submit that with your income tax return. And so basically, it's added to your income. So, you know, it's the last resort to invest your money in the non-registered savings account, but definitely, you know, usually you're making more interest than you are paying on taxes for the government. So again, we can advise you on those type of things as well. And again, with the non-registered savings account, you can have different investment options, just like you can with the tax-free savings account, the RSP and the GRIP. So you can have GICs and market investments as well. So, and if you go to your website for, I guess even the government website, they have more details about the tax-free savings account, the RSPs, the GRIPs, and your banking websites as well. All the details, more information about the investment types as well. So I'm going to pass it back to Alicia for our closing.
So thank you everyone today who joined us. If you, again, were here with us today, we would ask you these reflective questions. And it's not necessarily something to say out loud, but to just think about what did we share today, or what did you take away from this workshop presentation that is going to be helpful for you. I hope that there is something of value that we shared today. What reflection might be the hardest to start using in the future for your daily life? What reflection are you excited about using? Is there something that inspired you today, thinking about what you may have the opportunity to do with the funds that you're receiving, and how it may allow you to live and align all of your values in one place? We'd like to ask if there's anyone that you are grateful for today. I know that I'm grateful to Victoria. She was exceptionally helpful in building this presentation today, and an absolute pleasure to work with. And I thank you for that.
Thank you for preparing the PowerPoint, because I'm not very good with anything electronic. So I really appreciate all the effort that you put into this presentation.
So once again, thank you everyone who was able to join us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Are we done?